Good evening, it's Monday night, it's 7:30. This is Leicester Fan TV. My name is Phil. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're staying safe, staying indoors as best as possible and keeping fit and healthy. Even you Forest fans, hope you're well as well. Listen, tonight what a show we've got lined up for you. We have got Martin Allen, former Leicester City manager, managed Leicester for an exciting few matches back in 2007. Well, Martin, or as many people know him as Mad Dog, is joining us very, very shortly. We've also got Jamie from the Fox's Arms, we've got Chappers, we've got Tom, but most of all we want your views and we want your comments. If you can like and share this video, that would be brilliant. But welcome to tonight's Leicester Fan TV Fanzone show. Yes, good evening to you. Hello, David Gavin. Thanks for watching. Please like and share this video. Sean, hope you're well. Sean Sarson, hope you're well. Matty Bond is there while Matt is on. I must wish his daughter, who is called Molly, happy birthday. She's 10 today and enjoying that in lockdown. So welcome to the show to you, Matty, and to your daughter, Molly. Pete is saying hi to everybody at the Fox's Arms. And Gray is going to say good evening. And goodbye. Well, that was a quick one from you. Tom Eaton is watching, Man U fan, although he's a secret Leicester fan. We know he is. And let's bring in Jamie from the Fox's Arms straight away. Jamie, how are you, sir?
Evening. How the devil are we? Are we good? Are we all looking forward to this?
Yeah, we've been having some pre-show chat with Martin already, who's having us in stitches. So introduce him. Let's get him on the show.
Right, yeah, let's get him on as quick as possible, I think, because I think this is going to be really good. Well, Martin Allen, as we all know him as Mad Dog, he played for QPR, West Ham, Portsmouth, and he also finished his career at Southend. He came to us in the May of 07 from MK Dons, and unfortunately, he left in August of 07. So he was only there for 4 games. He left the day after the abandoned game versus Notts Forest. After a couple of disagreements with the old chairman, Milan Mandaric. So I think we ought to bring him on and see what he has to say.
Here he is. Martin Allen. Welcome to the show.
Good evening.
Evening, Martin. How are you?
Nice to be talking to you.
Good. That's what we like to hear.
So where do we start, Jamie, with Martin?
Right. The first question that I'd like to ask you.
I can't hear Jamie, by the way.
Oh, no, not again. You'd have to bring Phil, Lee, and...
Let me bring it. That's such a shame that the volume's gone. You say, Jamie.
Don't worry.
Jamie, ask me the question and we'll say it across. I don't know why that's happened.
Again, I was going to ask him, how did Milan persuade him to be here, to come to Leicester? So,
Martin, Jamie is asking, how did Milan Mandaric persuade you in the first place to come to Leicester City?
Well, I just finished in the playoffs with MK Dons and I had a phone call totally out of the blue. Totally wanted a meeting in central London, so I went into London, met him, and a couple of representatives from the club. I don't have an agent. I've never had an agent, so I just sat there and listened to what they had to say, and they offered me the job there and then that afternoon.
Was it quite an easy decision to make, Martin, to come to Leicester?
Was it what?
Quite an easy decision to come to Leicester.
Well, I suppose I might have just been brutally honest. I had a good job at MK Dons, but then when I went to Leicester, the scale of the money increase was for me personally, was quite unbelievable. So it was one of them. When I looked inside the brown envelope, it wasn't cash, but on the contract, it was like. You know, I sat there, even I was speechless for 5 minutes. I came out and it was like, oh my God, I need to take that job. Because obviously for my family, financially, it was a good move. And of course, being a championship club, for me, it was I knew I'd never manage in the Premier League, but I knew I could definitely manage in the championship.
Tom, have you got a question for Martin you'd like to kick off with?
Yeah, a couple of questions really. The first one being probably your players you had there. One especially, Hassim Kaibi.
Oh, you
as a
nicked
man,
it.
as a manager, how difficult is it to really get your point to what you want him to do when you're trying to do it through a translator onto him?
It wasn't my signing. You got to remember, I'd not been over to whatever country he came from. I think it was Iran, to watch him play. And when he arrived at the stadium, and he was a right back at 5'7", it didn't really fit the criteria for what you want at the right back at 5'7". When he came into the room, I thought he was a jockey. It was like, really, and we paid it. I didn't pay that money for him. I didn't pick him out. It was a player that I was given, but there's just no chance. No chance. I got on well with him because he couldn't speak, so I got on great with him.
What?
Chappers.
Yeah, what was Milan Mandaric actually like? Because it's obviously more of the earlier days for a lot of the youngster City fans now. What was Milan Mandaric actually like as a person?
Okay. Well, it's not my idea, and it doesn't suit me, as you can probably imagine. And perhaps you supporters can make your own decisions. Do I go along with the players that he wanted me to play and pick and choose and select them, or do I pick the players that I wanted to play, that I thought were more than good enough to play in my team?
Right. So I'm assuming that's the
alive.
Yeah. That's the disagreements then, obviously.
Alive if I'd have picked out other players just because the chairman, I didn't agree with it. They were very good, and it proved.
Yeah, I mean, Martin, I
didn't agree with that, obviously.
I think all fans of all football clubs would always say the decisions like that should definitely be the managers, because it's the managers who have to sort of live and die by their selection. So it was definitely debate on who should play. I mean, there was rumours, and somebody's just asked a question. One of the fans had said there was talk of Leicester being interested in Hasselbank at the time, and you particularly not being a fan of particularly bringing him in at that moment.
Oh, it's really crackly. I'm terribly sorry. I'm doing my very, very best to hear you. All I heard at the end there was about Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. That was well documented. I thought we already had more than enough forwards. I think we had 4 already. And I found out that from the chief exec that we were going to sign Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. Believe it or not, I was told we were going to sign him. It 11 months prior to that, away for Charlton in central midfield, where he got took off at half time. So with all these fantastic career and skills that he had as a player, I didn't think he would be synonymous for what we needed to go forward. And we already had at the club 44 players, which was more than difficult enough to manage. So
I think we're struggling a little bit with Martin's connection at the moment.
I think so.
He's just gone. Hopefully he'll click back in very shortly, because he's giving us some interesting stuff there. So hopefully, I think he is having a bit of a Wi-Fi issue at his end. Let me get in some of the comments. Chris Ward is saying, "Good evening, chaps. Having a great show. Thanks a lot for him." Martin is saying, "Is it true he made the players swim across the River Soar for a bet?" Well, let's add it. Let's see if we can add him back in. Martin, are you there? I do think it. Martin, can you hear us now? I think, Martin, can you hear us?
Hello, I lost you there. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Can you hear us now, Martin?
Hi.
Can you hear us, Martin?
No, I think his connection's gone.
It's a really bad line.
Yeah,
It is. I'm sorry, Martin. It does seem like it's a bad line. Can you hear us now? I'll tell you what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to just drop out some of the Leicester Fan TV guys, if that's okay.
Yes,
Can
a
I
little
ask you?
bit better, yes.
Oh, that's great. Here he is. Martin, thank you for that. If you can hear me, we've just had one fan ask. Martin's just asked, is it true that you made the players swim across the River Soar for a bet?
No, he's gone.
Right, I'm going to drop out.
Okay, Chappers.
Drop me out.
Chappers is going to drop out. I actually think it is Martin's problem because it's his Wi-Fi.
Take me out, Phil. Take me out. You can't hear me.
Right. Well, you have to drop out yourself, Jamie. So I do think it's just having a bit of a meltdown at the moment, which is such a shame to do that. So keep your questions coming in. Here we go. I'm going to try and add Martin back in there. Hello, Martin. Can you hear
Live
us?
TV, Phil.
It is live stuff. Can you hear us
Yes,
now,
I can hear you
Martin?
now.
Fantastic. Martin, one of the fans has asked, was it true you made the players?
Yes, I can. That's clear.
Fantastic. Did you make some of the players swim across the River Soar for a bet?
God.
No.
Oh, I'm so.
It's such a shame. I think, Martin, your Wi-Fi connection is just not quite standing up to all this.
Tell him to use his data 4G.
Can you hear us again, Martin? It is such a shame, guys, because I just fear that Martin can't hear us. And it is such a shame because we may well, of course, yeah, Matthew Bond is saying it is Gremlins.
Good.
Jamie's saying we might just have to give up. We might just have to give up on this one, Jamie. It is such a shame because I know Martin will have to get him back on again. I don't think he can hear us, can you, Martin?
No.
No, he's definitely gone. I
was
can't.
looking forward to that all night.
What a shame. So he's not. I'll see if he can click back in again. Tom, obviously, hopefully we'll come back in. I'm going to try him one more time. Let's see. Martin, can you hear us again? Can you hear us now, Martin?
Not me.
Yeah, Martin's mad dog. How are you?
Martin's mad dog.
Can you hear me now, Martin, or not?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. A little bit frustrated. I was really looking forward to this.
Yeah, well, we are too. I don't know if
Yes,
it's
I
a
can.
poor connection at your end.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Martin, if you can hear me, one of the fans asked, did you ever make the players swim across a river for a bet?
Facebook user. That comment's funny.
It's just not working. I don't know what the problem is with the connection, guys. It's such a shame. So you've jinxed it, says somebody on the Facebook. Kevin, Jamie is saying, can we just not phone him? We just can't. We have to do it via the video link and do it this way, which is such a shame. Just isn't working tonight for us. So I'm going to kick him out, bless, and hopefully bring him back in. Guys, Jamie from the Foxes, it's just not working tonight, mate.
Gutted.
And now we can't even hear Jamie now. It is just having one of those absolute meltdowns.
Well, we've had some successful shows so far on here, so clearly it's just gremlins in the office, mate. Gremlins in the office.
Martin, can you hear us now?
Right, how's that?
I think,
Yes,
let's see. You can hear us. Can you hear us now, Martin?
Okay, is that better?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, I can hear you, yes.
So I'm going to ask it. I'm going to try one more time, Martin, to see if you can hear this. Somebody's asked, did you ever make the players swim across the river for a bet?
Yeah, I did do that. Yeah, the players haven't won a game for a long time.
You did make them do that.
Can you hear me okay?
We can just about hear you, yes. Can you hear us, though, Martin?
Oh dear, it's such a bad line. I really want to do this, but I can't get a good line.
Martin, if you can hear me, we'll try another night, okay?
I blame Milan. Chris Cambias.
Yes. I think we're going to try it another night, Martin. We're going to give up tonight because it's just not happening, okay? Jamie, if you can hear me from the Fox's Arms, can you message Martin and tell him we'll try another night?
Lisa.
Is that okay? So listen, everybody.
Right, boys. Let's drop him out and we'll just talk business. what can we talk about to fill the show up? Because
Jamie, can you even hear us, Jamie?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you WhatsApp Martin and say?
It. I heard you.
I think it's his Wi-Fi. Bless him. And we got so many things. Such a shame. Listen, I do apologise. We will try. I think it's just he's doing it off his phone, and I think it's just Jamie. You could tell him. You could tell him or ask him if he'd like to turn off his Wi-Fi, like Chappers says, and just do it off his cellular data, because that does work better. Look at us. We're doing this on the hot live. While we're waiting, guys, for Martin, Alan, Chappers, and Tom, while Jamie's doing some admin. What do you remember of Martin, Allen, Chappers?
To be honest with you, was it around 2006-ish?
7
years, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I was. I went at my mum and dad's house. I was going through a bit of a patchy time, so I don't actually remember it all that well. I remember something to do with Hasselbank coming to the club, which was massive, really, because obviously he's a legend. But that didn't happen, if I remember right, and that was all to do with Martin and Milan Mandaric having a bit of a disagreement. That's really all I really remember.
He's back now. He's back.
Hiya.
We think we've got you back, Martin.
Thank God. That's so frustrating. Can you ask me that question again? Let's get cracking.
Let's get cracking.
Yes.
Did you make the Leicester players or some of them swim across the river, Martin?
No, never.
You never did that?
Nope.
Fine. We finally got an answer. Well done. Martin, listen, I know I want to ask you something, if that's all right, Martin. I'd like to ask you, that game, it was the away day game at Notts Forest in the Cup. I was there as a fan in the stands when obviously Clive Clarke had that awful incident at half time. I mean, you were at Leicester quite a short period, but that was a massive incident what went on there. What can you talk us through a little bit of the changing rooms, because obviously things have moved on since then with players, and how it was a real shock.
It was horrendous. It was horrendous. I'm not going to go too much into the detail to break confidence, obviously, with Clive, but at one point he was struggling big time, without going into too much more detail, on the floor right in front of us in the middle of the dressing room. So we got all the players out of the dressing room as quickly as possible. And then Dave Rennie and Damien Doyle and the club doctor came to try to revive him. When you're a manager and you put all your faith in your players to go out and give everything they've got, it puts things into a bit of a different perspective when that happened that night. And he was such a lovely lad, Clive. Anyway, got to about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'd returned to the hospital in Nottingham. To see him and his family who had travelled down, and from that point onwards, I got a call then at 8:30 in the morning to go to the ground to see the owner. So no, it was a very difficult time, looking after one of your players right throughout the night in intensive care, and then getting sacked just a few hours later. I'm not sure the timing was perfectly correct, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a Martin. Am I right in my memory? Says we'd just beaten Watford like 4-1 as well at the weekend before as well, haven't we? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. They were top of the league, and they were about 9th, I think. They'd won every game, Watford, but we beat them 4-1 at home. But I knew prior to that game, to be honest, I didn't walk out onto the pitch for no reason. I knew what was going on behind the scenes. I knew the negative vibes. I didn't play the players that he wanted me to play. It was a great day. Yeah, beating Watford was a magnificent occasion, and standing ovation from every supporter that was in there was something I'll never forget. Of course.
And again, I do remember when it all happened. From the fans' point of view, fans were sort of out, arms up in the air, sort of saying, we want Martin back. There was a bit of movement to try and get you back to the club. Fans not happy with what was going on. Did you pick up on any of that? Did you know that was going on?
I was aware of it. I was aware of it to an extent, but I don't do social media. I stay away from that and just try and live my life sort of clear, and always have done. I had a couple of incidents when I was at Notts County, and a couple of Tranmere fans were piping up about me getting cancer, which made me get up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and try and drive to Liverpool from London. I wasn't happy with that. When I woke up in the morning, I decided that was the end of all social media. I'll just live my life how I live it and how it was before social media, if you like, and avoid all that and stay away from all that and just kind of get on with it. But no, I was aware, and I had a great response. And whenever I lived in Melton Mowbray not so long ago for quite a while, and I met a lot of Leicester City fans in Melton Mowbray, in between all the motor scooters that go around like Benidorm. I've got to take this opportunity. There's a pumpkin. Are those things called pumpkins for Halloween? There's a pumpkin farm near Melton Mowbray, and I went there with my wife to get like 2, maybe 3 of those pumpkins. And we ended up coming home because he was a Leicester City season ticket holder. He gave us 14 pumpkins. So that was one good thing that come out of living in Melton Mowbray.
Lots of pumpkins.
Loads of pumpkin soup.
Jamie,
the postman won't come near our house for a week. He was scared stiff.
Jamie, we can all hear you now as well, Jamie. So what question would you
Martin,
like?
Can you hear me now, Martin?
Yes, I can, Jamie. Sorry about that.
Okay. Right. So not a problem. I was going to ask a bit before you came here. This is more back to your football playing career. When you were at West Ham, who was the best player that you actually played with at West Ham? Because all your family played there. You had a couple of you had cousins that played for West Ham as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I thought this was Leicester City. Are you Leicester City?
Oh, no, of course not. But we ask everything. It's not just about Leicester. It's about everything.
Jamie, you just got trolled.
I know. And he sent me a lovely letter about 9 years ago. I'm going to rip it up now.
Did I? What did I send you?
It was when I was in hospital. I spoke to you on Love Sport about it. Remember?
Hello, you're that one, are you?
I'm that one. Yes, that's me.
All right?
Oh yeah, I'm fine now. I wasn't 9 years ago, but I'm fine now.
No, I remember that.
Yeah, you were just going out to play Juventus with Notts County in East Midlands Airport when my son-in-law saw you.
Yeah, I remember. Are you feeling good now?
I'm fine now, thank you, mate. I'm fine.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I was in. I did have a great time at West Ham, that's for sure. Julian Dix was probably the best one. But let's go back to Leicester. End of. Bye bye.
That's cut your question right short, hasn't it?
I like
Go on,
that.
Chappers.
What?
Yeah.
Martin, what do you think of the of today's setup with Leicester? The squad. How do you think we are at the minute? Are we top contenders? Are we just being a bit lucky at the minute, or do you think we are going to establish ourselves as a really big side?
No, I don't think it's luck. I think over the last few years, the recruitment of very good players and keeping Jamie Vardy when it looked like he was on the verge of moving to Arsenal a few years ago, and the emergence of the left-sider Barnes, and then the midfield player Chowdhury, the signing of the young right-back from Luton. It looks like it's young, hungry, mobile, athletic, skillful.
Yeah.
The signing of the central midfield player from Monaco, I'm not sure what his name is, who can score goals.
Tillemans,
I thought, and I think with Maddison staying as well, I think it's got the makings of not just a flash pan 1 or 2 years. It looks like 3 or 4 years of a decent Champions League challenging team that the fans can be rightly proud of. The manager is a fantastic manager. The staff that he's got around him, and John Rudkin behind the scenes, I think they do a magnificent job.
Yeah.
Martin, can I ask, what, being a manager in today's world where you're trying to manage multimillionaires, very young lads with multi-millions as well, how do you try and control these types of people?
Well, it's certainly different now to when I first started out in
Yeah.
management and to how I was brought up by my dad when I was a little boy in Reading. And if I didn't play well, I would get in the car, 10 years old, and my dad would be giving it to me absolutely big time. Why I didn't? If I scored 3, he said I should have scored 5. And that tackle, why didn't you kick him, or why didn't you get him? Why did you pull out of that one? Why didn't you? It was full on. Well, that doesn't happen nowadays. We've seen with social changes, social trends changing for the better, I must say, where parents are much more relaxed with their children. Coaches have to coach in a different way. Managers have to manage a different way. As these children have been brought up through their schooling, it's changed. And when you've got players earning a lot of money, as you rightly say, with this different outlook and this different style of football to what we were brought up with, we've all been brought up on the 4-4-2, in it to a big fella, have a little fella like Cotty feeding off of him, two wingers that could get crosses in like Guppy, and go for the knockdowns, get the crosses back in, be good on set plays. Those days have gone. It's a different style of football, a different way of playing. So no, that old-fashioned hitting with a stick mentality doesn't work.
Yeah, going back onto your management with Leicester, I've got a great question here by I think it's Ree Sonley. Do you think you would have kept Leicester City up in the season if you were kept in the manager's role at the time?
I would have gone up.
You'd have gone up.
Why are you surprised?
No. I'm not. I'm not.
What are you laughing at?
Do you wish, Martin, it had gone very differently at that time? Obviously, were you? I know it was an incident, and obviously, do you really sit there and think like, do you know what? I could have really took that team. We could have done it that season.
Oh yeah, there was enough good players there. There was enough good players in that group. We had a really good team spirit. You don't beat the top of the league team 4-1, and it was a comfortable 4-1 as well.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
We away at Crystal Palace, if you remember, we were winning, and they scored with a free kick in the last few minutes. That would have put us up into the top 3, I think. So no, we were a decent little group of players, but there was just a problem that there were so many players, 44 players. If you can imagine, 44 players. That is a horrendous amount of players for any manager, let alone a younger, believe it or not, younger manager coming up. And there was a lot of players clearly very unhappy who had been told that they can leave. And I had to pick the pieces up.
I've got another question here from Joanna Astley. Some of these might be rumours or myths, Martin. She says, Martin, is it true that you had a naughty chair for when the players were late coming for training?
A what?
A naughty chair for the players when they were late coming to training. I'm not.
He's pleading the fifth on that one.
Oh dear. Yeah.
I don't know if you did or you didn't now.
Can I just tell you,
I know.
It's always bugged me. The chairman said to me it would be a good idea for the players to come and integrate after training with the rest of the staff at the stadium, which I thought was a really good idea.
Yeah.
So what we organised was players in groups of, I think it was 4s, and they had 15 or 20 minutes with each section. They couldn't get round to all of them, but I think they had to do about 4 different departments. And they'd move around. I think there's about 8 different departments at that time. So we would get to see everybody and they'd meet up with everybody. When I got the sack, it was put out there that one of the reasons I got the sack is because I'd asked the players to clean the toilets.
Yeah, I heard that.
Heard that one, yeah.
I asked the players to clean the toilets.
No.
Obviously not. What I asked, or what we asked, because I didn't actually organise the event, was that 4 players would go and help the maintenance people sit and have a cup of tea with them, have a chat with them, find out who they are and what their history was, and make them feel part of our team going forward. Do you really think we're going to make them do the toilets? I mean, that sort of stuff, that's what gets put out, and that is kind of, you know, like a naughty chair and stuff like that. It's like ridiculous.
I want to know. I want to. Yeah, I want to know this one as well, because I've seen this one out and about. Darren Thompson says that he asks, "Did you put flowers in the training ground?" Because I've heard this story quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. When I turned up there, you drove in through those gates, and the floor of the car park was rough and had holes in it, and it was all over the place. It's not what you want from a football club. There was weeds everywhere. There was no hanging baskets. There was no flowers, and it was not a nice place to come in to work. So I said to them, I asked them, I didn't tell them, I asked them if we could have some hanging baskets with some colour of our team's colours. So as much blue and white, and some flower beds with some blue and white. If you'd have to cut them out and make it a nice place and cut all the grass around here for when it arrived. And before the players come back to pre-season training, is there any chance we could tarmac the car park, put lines on it so that all the senior players could park at the front near the dressing rooms, and all the younger players could park to the left as you go in. So it'd be seniors at the front with staff right at the front to make the place look professional and better environment and sharper for them to come to work. I've been back to Leicester and I spoke to one of the grounds, and I'm not sure what his name is, and he said to me, "Martin, that's one of the best things you ever done at Leicester." Hanging baskets every year.
So where did the where did the nickname Mad Dog actually come from? Do you know?
Do I know? Yeah, I don't know. It came from that time at West Ham where I used to make some bad tackles. I was a naughty boy, and people from Leicester City might remember one of my mad nights. Really, we played against Leicester for QPR on the Tuesday at Filbert Street, one of my favourite grounds, and I was lucky enough to score a goal as you went out of the tunnel over to that left-hand side in that top corner. It was only a volley from 25 yards. And,
only
remembers it well.
It was only 25. And Leicester had a player in their team, and his name was Steve Linex.
Oh,
yeah. And he was a skillful, good player. Anyway,
good winger.
I'd kicked him. Yeah, winger. I'd kicked him once and got a yellow card. And then soon after that, I did a slide tackle on him over the far side underneath where all the fans were, towards the halfway line. And as he was stood above me, I kicked him upwards, up with a kick off the floor.
Wow.
Towards his orchestra stalls. You know what I mean? For those of you who don't, this is balls. So as I did that, he then stamped on me from above. I'm on the floor looking up, and he stamped on me full. So the referee came over, and the referee gave him a red card and gave me a second yellow. So we both got sent off. So all the Leicester fans, you can imagine the names and the abuse that I was getting. And yeah, that was one of my nice nights. So that's probably where that name kind of comes along.
Wow.
I've got a quick question. Yep. Yeah, I was going to say, I know you went.
Just before you come on with your Steve Linex came into the QPR dressing room. I was only 19, by the way. Linex came into the dressing room to see me and patted me on the back. He said, "I hope you're okay." He knew I was upset because we had the cup final 5 days later, and I didn't know if I could play in the cup final. And he came in, he patted me on the back. And I've never had the opportunity to say thank you to Steve Linex for doing that. That was a special moment for me.
That's fantastic. I mean, like you say, he was a great winger, and lots of Leicester fans. I particularly remember Steve Linex playing. So
yeah,
that's good times. Tom.
Yeah, just one other question really for him. What was your opinion on the madman for Leicester, Alan Birchinall?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I liked him. He was a proper character. All decent clubs need people like that around the football club. Great bloke. Really, really pleased for him. Whenever I go back, I always make sure I shake his hand. Proper decent bloke, Birch. Proper decent bloke, and he's great for the club.
And one other question I was going to ask you, Martin, what was your opinion on the Leicester winning the title in 2016?
Yeah, I was going to ask that. Yeah.
And me.
Well, I'd like to say I put the paving stones and the concrete.
You did. It was those hanging baskets.
You planted the seeds.
Yeah, you planted the seeds. Yeah,
it's true. You managed a young Andy King who became a three-tiered champion.
Do you remember Andy King, Martin?
Of course I do. The only thing I did for that championship, which I was proud of, and going back to your question before I go on to the Andy King one, yes, I was very proud. Yes, I was absolutely delighted, and I loved what Leicester were doing. I'd been up to watch at Fleetwood that lad called Vardy, because I wanted to sign him for Notts County. I'd been watching Vardy for about 3 months, and we couldn't get him because the price obviously went up too high. But I knew that he was a good player. And I used to sit next to Walsh at the back of the stand. You know, Mickey Walsh, he was chief scout. And I was trying to get him before Walsh. I'd sit there in the stand and say to him, he's no good. He's no good. I don't think he can do it. No, the only thing I'd put together for that was the tarmacking and the flowers at the front of the
Somebody had to do it.
Well, it was done, no. So, no, absolutely delighted with that. Then Andy King, one afternoon in pre-season training, we had a competition of about 4 or 5 teams, a rolling round competition. And Andy King was called up from the youth team to train with the first team. Steve Beaglehole had said, this is our best player at the moment. You have a look at him. So I didn't know this kid. He's a skinny little, he's like a rat, skinny. And anyway, we played the game and I was thinking, flipping hell, this boy's good. This boy's good. And we had the World Cup winners who all got a packet of sweets. Bruno Ngotti wasn't impressed with a packet of sweets.
Bruno Ngotti.
But the best player in the tournament, and I didn't even know the kid's name. I pointed him out, and it was Andy King. And I remember saying in front of everybody, this boy is going to be something special. What a great performance he put in. So to then see him creeping up towards the first team was, I was delighted with that. I've never really met him since, but no, from afar, of course, I've watched his career and his progress, and absolutely delighted for him.
Right, guys, I think it's been absolutely excellent having you on, Martin. Can I try and twist your arm before we go to do your Milan Mandaric impression? I'm going to put you on the spot.
He's got to think about it now.
Come on.
Martin, why are you on holiday? Why are you on holiday? Well, Chairman, I'm in. Where are you? I said, I'm in Bali, on the other side of the world. I said, I only arrived this morning. He said, you've got to get yourself home. We've got some business to talk about. I said, it's taken me 24 hours to get here. He said, well, get yourself home. He said, I'll see you in the office tomorrow night. And he put the phone down.
And did you, or did you stay in Bali?
Of course I did. I wasn't coming home. I turned my phone off.
Oh my word!
Oh dear,
that's brilliant.
We played pre-season. There was a lot of Leicester fans there. We played away at a place, I think it was called Brackley, little non-league club. Nice little place, nice new facilities. Was it Brackley we went to?
Yeah, it was Brackley.
Yeah, we lost the game, and there was a knock on the door, on the dressing room door. And I went to the door. I didn't say nothing to the players because it was like a pre-season game, but we didn't play very well. Opened the door, and he said, Martin, I need to have a word with you. So I went out, went into the laundry room at Brackley, just got over the corridor. He said, what are you doing? I said, you what? What are you doing with these players? They are good players. I said, oh, which ones are good then, Mr. Chairman? The ones that you signed? I said, they're not good enough. And I told you that last week. I said, I'm going back in the dressing room, and I walked off. And I thought, this is not going to work.
Priceless.
Jeez. Oh my word.
Oh, dear.
Right.
Absolutely brilliant.
We'll leave it there. Thanks so much.
Hey,
Oh, look, there he is.
visitor.
Oh.
Mad Dog and his dog.
What's your dog
Mad
called,
Dog and his
Martin?
dog.
No, it's Mad Dog and Martin.
Mad Dog and Martin.
What's he called, Martin?
Killer. The neighbours round here don't like him.
just for a minute, I thought you were going to say his name was Milan.
Yeah. Hey Milan.
Just for a second. Sit.
Yeah, sit, Milan, sit.
Oh dear. Right.
Listen,
Absolutely
Milan.
brilliant. Yes.
Thanks, Martin, Mad Dog, Alan, for joining us tonight. It's been an absolute honour to have you on. Hopefully, we'll get you on again in a few weeks, a few months' time. But keep safe, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, you all stay safe as well.
Thanks, Martin.
Thanks so much,
Really-
Martin.
Cheers,
Appreciate
Martin.
your
Thank
time.
you.
Appreciate your
Cheers,
time.
Martin.
Thank
Much
you. Thank you
appreciated.
for coming on.
Bye-bye.
Brilliant. How good was that to have
Brilliant.
Martin Allen on? That was
Absolutely
fantastic.
brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant.
Hey, we're having a tour around his house now. Oh, he's gone now.
Listen, guys, I know we had some technical
Brilliant.
problems at the start, but that was
wow.
that's the first time I've cried laughing. I think
Phil,
doing one of these.
I know, that's brilliant,
a live
that is.
show for you, hey?
Oh, that's brilliant. He's definitely not on the Christmas card list.
Milan's, no,
Fantastic.
definitely not.
Right,
No,
listen,
thoroughly enjoyed that.
Jamie.
Oh.
So we've got another one on Thursday, I believe, potentially. Who have we got on Thursday?
This is 100%. We've got him, and on Sunday as well. We've got on Thursday night. We've got the ex-keeper, Conrad Logan, who spent a lot of time at Leicester before we moved on. People were asking for a keeper last week, and we've only gone and got one. We've got Conrad Logan Thursday night, 7:00.
Very good. Obviously, Conrad Logan, one of the longest-serving players at Leicester, wasn't he? For 12, 13 years, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, he got let go in 2015, somewhere 2015.
And then on Sunday, Jamie?
Sunday? Oh, you're making me work hard now. You are, aren't you, Phil?
Well, somebody's got to.
We've got,
You've not been doing nothing this last couple of weeks, have
no,
you, Jamie?
I've got nothing else better to do, have I? So,
No.
Just
on
bossing
Sunday,
people around.
I know, I keep bossing everyone around, telling them what to do. It's good, this is. Now I know how the missus feels at work when she keeps bossing me about. And we've got Spencer Pryor on Sunday.
Oh,
and now
wow.
he's in Australia, and he lives in Sydney now. So we've had to do a special one for it. Well, not a special, just move the Saturday show to the Sunday morning. So we've got Spencer Pryor at 10:00 UK time, 10:00.
Okay, we've got Pontus Kamot coming up at a later date. We'll set the date coming up.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got Pontus confirmed as well, so that'll be good.
We've also
Fantastic.
got Neil Dans next week as well.
Who's that, Jamie?
Neil Dans on a week
legend.
tonight. We've got Neil Dans.
Cool.
I'm trying to
Another
remember the Neil Stan song. It was like something techno, wasn't it?
Everybody dance now, do.
That's
it.
I
Yeah.
knew it was a dancey song.
Yeah. It'd be a good laugh because he's a Scouser, a bit like what Alan Rodgers was. Oh, Alan Rodgers is coming back on in a couple of weeks as well.
Yeah, he was
We
just
can
about
finish
to
them
tell us
stories off.
he can finish those stories.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, thanks, Jamie, for coming and sorting everything out.
Perfect.
And thank you as well to Chappers. See you soon.
Cheers for having me
Stay
on.
safe. Tom, good luck this week. This baby's going to come any day for you, isn't it, mate?
Mate, it's got to hurry up now. It's dragging its heels. But yeah, hopefully this time next week it might be it. If not, then we'll probably be in hospital waiting for it to come because the due date is gone. So, hey, who knows? But yeah, thanks for all the comments. Appreciate from everyone. And like I say, technical issues do hamper sometimes with live shows. But hey, what a show it's been. And Mad Dog himself has done us proud tonight with some of those stories. And we all know now that the truth about Milan buying the players, and it wasn't really Martin Allen's fault with some of the signings.
It does show you, doesn't it? It does show you that sort of thing does go on, buying the players and also wanting to pick them, Tom.
Exactly, mate.
Anyway, listen, Tom, thanks for joining us. I'm going to let you go now, and I'll just say
Cheers,
some cheerios. Oh, just before you go, Tom, few congrats. I don't know if you're seeing in the comments
Yeah.
from Rye and from Imtiaz as well, wishing you well with
Cheers,
your little
guys.
ones.
Appreciated.
So
Thank you.
thanks, Tom, for joining us. And thanks, everybody, for all your comments as well. Rye is saying, let's do the Neil Stan song. I know. Can you believe that? Matt is saying, thanks for that. Great fun. I wanted to just let you know as well before we go at the end that we have got lots of competitions going on the website, LeicesterFanTV.com. We've got the chance to win a pink Adidas shirt. We've got the chance to win a green retro Iron Coupe Leicester City shirt. So get over to LeicesterFanTV.com and enjoy all the fun over there. But for everybody who's been watching, everybody who's stuck with us through our technical issues at the start, and of course, as ever, thanks to the guys who do the sponsoring and help us buy the tech kit and get things going for us. So thanks to all those guys over there. Join us very shortly for Thursday night for another live with Jamie and Chappers and Tom, if he's not had a baby, and Conrad Logan on Thursday. So from me, Phil, Leicester Fan TV, we'll see you later.